The flight from London to New York was entirely smooth until hour 4, when the cabin lights suddenly flickered and died. A second later, the captain's voice came over the intercom. It wasn't a standard announcement. He sounded completely terrified. "Is there a passenger named David Vance on board? Please press your attendant call button immediately." David, sitting in seat 14B, felt his heart drop. He hesitantly pressed the button. Within seconds, the lead flight attendant sprinted down the aisle, her face completely pale. Without a word, she grabbed him by the arm and pulled him toward the cockpit. When David stepped inside, the pilot turned around, sweating profusely. He held up a printed piece of paper that had just come through the plane's satellite communication system. It was an official encrypted message from air traffic control. The pilot read it aloud, his voice trembling. "Urgent. Do not land the plane. Look out the cockpit window." David looked. Ahead of them, the sky was perfectly clear, but looking down at the Atlantic Ocean, things were wrong. The massive container ships below weren't moving. The water looked completely frozen, like a photograph. David looked at his watch. The second hand was perfectly still. The pilot turned to David, his eyes wide with horror. "The message says that 3 hours ago a catastrophic temporal anomaly hit Earth. Time on the ground has completely stopped. Everyone down there is frozen in place. Our plane is only moving because we were at 35,000 feet when it hit." David shook his head, panicked. "Why are you telling me this? What can I do?" The pilot handed him the rest of the message. It was a scanned copy of David's own driver's license, alongside a top-secret clearance file dated 10 years into the future. The final line of the message read, "David Vance is the lead engineer who designed the Anomaly Containment Unit. If you are reading this, the experiment failed. Do not let David land. He's the only human left alive who knows how to restart the clock." David stared at the paper, his mind spinning. He wasn't an engineer. He was just a 24-year-old accountant. He had never seen that file in his life. Then, a heavy knock sounded on the cockpit door behind them. A voice from the cabin yelled, "David! Open the door! We don't have much fuel left!" David looked back at the pilot, but the pilot wasn't moving anymore. His eyes were wide, blinking at 0 frames per second. The freeze had just reached the cockpit. If you want to see how David survives the freeze, drop a comment for part 2 and hit that follow button so you don't miss it.